Bok choy in oyster sauce. It's an absolute staple when you go to a Chinese restaurant. I'm going to show you how to make it at home with very few ingredients. I love this as a side with some rice, maybe some roast pork or duck. It is simply delicious. So I've got some water boiling here and we're going to add our bok choy. Now what I've done is just split the bok choy in half, trimmed the base of it, and I've just allowed it to soak in water. Now you can do this ahead of time, you can do it a day ahead of time. In fact, it's even better because as you can see, these nooks and crannies will hold a lot of sand and dirt. So give them a wash so you don't crunch on that as you eat them. So washing is imperative. Now that water is boiling, we're going to add all our bok choy, shake off that excess water, and instead of putting them in flat, what I'm going to do is put them in just like this. So the most important part is to get the base of the bok choy in there because that's going to take the longest to cook. If some of the leaves are hanging out, not a problem. It's going to cook for a second time in the pan. All right, we'll pop this pan on a medium to high heat and I'll get some garlic. We want to chop the garlic, just bruise it first, and we'll just roughly chop it. And I'm not going to add this to the sauce base. I prefer to fry it off first so it becomes quite fragrant, and then we can add our oyster sauce to it. This was quite a large garlic, so I'm just using one, but if they're smaller, use two because you want a good hit of garlic with this bok choy. All right, happy with that. We'll add a splash of vegetable oil, about 1 tablespoon, and to that we'll add our garlic. Okay, we'll just jiggle that pan. You could also do this in a wok and just evenly distribute that garlic and let that slightly soften and become golden. Okay, in this jug I have some water. To this I'll add our oyster sauce, a good glug of oyster sauce, and this oyster sauce has that beautiful savoury flavour that I'm after. So we'll add that along with some sweetness, so some sugar, and sesame oil. I'm using a black sesame oil here. You can use your classic one. The black sesame oil is a little bit more intense, so you just need a few little drops. That's plenty. We'll give that a whisk just to dissolve that sugar. And now some corn flour. This is crucial so we get that gorgeous glossy finish on the sauce. It'll also thicken the sauce too. So in it goes. And again, just give that a really good whisk. Great. Now I'll pour that straight into the garlic. And we'll just scoop out any of that sugar or corn flour on the base. And as it comes to the boil, see how that thickens up immediately and it's glossy? Just let that cook away just for a moment while we have a look at our bok choy. All right. These have come up to the boil again. Essentially, we're just blanching it. I still want a slight crunch on the bok choy, so I'm going to take them out of the pan now and we'll bring our sauce over. If some of that liquid goes into the pan, totally fine. So in with the bok choy. And see how it's staying vibrant green? That's what we're after. That's it. And all we do now is just coat our beautiful halves in the sauce. Now, I'm doing this with bok choy because it's classic, but you can do this with any type of vegetable you like. If you've got some asparagus, fantastic. Beans, sugar snap peas, or a mixture of all of them, they all go with this delicious base sauce. All right, heat off, and we can serve this up. So we'll just place them into a bowl. Honestly, this is such a simple yet tasty combination. That on a bowl of rice is just to die for. You could garnish it with some spring onions or some sesame seeds, or just do what I'm doing, having it completely simply as is. A little extra sauce. Voila, bok choy with oyster sauce.